What I was taking a look at was teachers using social networking for communication amongst themselves and about students, maybe friending students and that sort of thing, and finding out the implications of how that can affect your job performance and your employment as a teacher or an educator.
This is a very interesting area of the law. It's evolving, of course, given the new electronic mediums that are available. And so what Ruth had to do was to go back in and look at some of the older precedents, the landmark cases that dealt with teacher speech, and then also look at how those have been applied to some of these new scenarios that are coming about.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of new cases that relate to this topic. So many of the cases that I looked at were from many, many years ago. One particular case is the Pickering case, which was in 1968. This gentleman wrote a letter to the editor. He was speaking as a private citizen on a public matter. He was criticizing a tax increase. And the results of that case was they decided that an employee can speak out privately on a public matter, but not the other way around.
As you learned in your research, is that teachers have the right to express themselves.
Absolutely.
On issues of public concern. Mm-hmm. The problem becomes when they start talking about those things that should be confidential, right, or that relate back to
right,
the school system.
Well, and if what's happening is if their comments are causing the school not to function in the way that it should, if it impedes the school's ability to provide a quality education, and if it impedes their own performance, mm-hmm, then that's where the trouble begins. For me personally, I know that I do have a Facebook, and I monitor that extremely well. I did so before I took this project on, but even so, after that, I try to make sure that the content on it is absolutely clean and appropriate for me as a professional. I also think that I'm more eager to express the concerns that this can bring to my colleagues.
And now, Ruth's study has been used in your district, won't you?
Absolutely. I made a brochure for this research paper, and I shared that with some of the administrators in Champaign Unit 4 schools, and it was passed on to the HR department, and shortly after that, that brochure was emailed to all of Unit 4 staff, just as a precautionary measure to say, you know, these are the things that you need to be aware of, these are the things that we can sanction, these are the things that we can't, but just to please be aware, and if you are friending students, be really, really careful.
Mm-hmm.